Hey, what up, guys? Coming to you this morning with another What's Next. This one is, we start my number 7s. And it's undefeated WBA regular Super Bantamweight champion Brandon Figueroa. Very exciting fighter from 122 pounds. Like I said, he's currently my number 7 in that weight class. He's coming off of, though, a tough fight in his biggest, on the biggest stage. He was on the undercard of Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz 2 back in November. And he was defending the title officially for the first time against Julio Ceja, former world champion. But a lot of people felt he was going to blast right through Ceja, and he, didn't do that. Ceja did come in overweight, and Figueroa claimed that was the reason that he didn't knock him out. The fight ended up in a draw. It was a very good, action-packed fight, but Figueroa just didn't dominate the way a lot of people thought he would, myself included. Excuse me. And now we're going to see, what he does going forward. Now, we already know pretty much. The WBA ordered him to make a mandatory defense of his title against veteran, former world title challenger, Ronnie Rios, who's currently the WBA gold champion, which, from what I'm taking from all of it, is pretty much like another #1 contender. With the WBA and all their fucked up champions and interim champions and regular champs and super champs and they got #1 contenders. They got gold champions and silver champion. I mean, it's fucking stupid. But anyways, the gold champion distinction, I believe, is the #1 contender deal. So like in the same realm and area as being the mandatory #1 contender. So they've ordered that match. That fight looks like it's gonna happen for sure. I think Figueroa is gonna knock out Ronnie Rios and win this fight. I think he might have been overlooking Julio Ceja, might have been caught up in finally being on a real big stage with a lot of viewers, with the being on the on pay-per-view on that undercard, and I think he's gonna get his head together and he's gonna beat the shit out of Ronnie Rios. But Ronnie Rios is a live underdog coming off a tough decision win over, coming off of a big knockout and career best victory over, what's his name, Diego De La Hoya. So his confidence is riding high, and Ronnie Rios don't back up. His first world title was in 2017 when he fought for it against Ray Vargas. He fought hard. He lost a decision, but a lot of people thought he was going to get his ass whipped. He just got outworked in that one, but he really showed a lot of heart and came in a big underdog. So he's coming in an underdog, but riding a lot of confidence, coming off his career best win last year. This should be a good fight. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it looks like it's going to happen for sure. Now, I'm going to run through the top 10 for Figueroa on what he's going to do next after Ronnie Rios, which he should beat. We start with #1 at 122, and that is WBA and IBF unified champion, the undefeated Mirajan Akhmadiev. Akhmadiev is fighting Ryusuke Iwasa next in a mandatory fight. That's his IBF mandatory. He's the interim champ there. I think Akhmadiev is going to beat Iwasa. I really do think it's kind of a 50-50 fight. Could go either way. But if Akhmadiev wins, the possibility of him and Figueroa is there, since he's a super champ, Akhmadiev is, and Figueroa is a regular champ. But they're with rival, promotions. Akhmadiev's with Matchroom, and what's his name's with the PBC, Figueroa. So I don't see the two sides coming together when they have other options in their promotions to make fights, and I think that's what both sides are probably going to lean towards doing next. #2 is former unified champion Daniel Roman. Same kind of thing. I believe Figueroa is going to win. I believe Roman would be into facing him, but Roman's with Matchroom, and Roman's gonna probably be in that mix of fighting somebody with Matchroom. Now, Roman is the #1 in the WBC. He's ranked decent in the WBA, where he held the title before, but they're not going to mandate Roman to fight Figueroa after Figueroa's making a mandatory against Rios. So kind of up in the air. I guess the possibility's there, but I don't think they're going to force that fight to happen. So I don't think it's going to happen. #3 is WBO champion Emmanuel Navarrete. I highly doubt it. Top Rank would have to get together with the PBC. That's not I wouldn't completely rule that out that they could do it, but I'm not sure the PBC is going to want to put Figueroa in against Navarrete, who's a full load, very good, throws a lot of punches. That'd be a good one right there. I don't see this one happening between those two. Number 4 is undefeated WBC champion Ray Vargas. Now, I think this fight's very possible. I think Vargas, they're probably going to put him up with the Emmanuel Rodriguez next. If the WBC doesn't force him to make a mandatory defense after that fight, I really think him and Figueroa could lock horns. Figueroa and him would be both undefeated champions. It'd be a unification bout, and it'd be an entertaining fight. And I think there's a very good chance these two guys could collide by the end of the year or early next year. So I think there's a chance of that one. Number 5 is IBF interim champion, former champion Ryosuke Iwasa of Japan. Now, Iwasa's facing Murajan Akhmadayev. Unified title, it's a mandatory fight. If he were to beat Akhmadayev, he's been working with the PBC the whole last year. 2019, both his fights were PBC cards. I could see Iwasa facing Brandon Figueroa, and I think that's probably the fight they make, because I think the PBC wants Brandon Figueroa to be their future, one of their future guys, and all you're doing is adding titles to him. Iwasa would be both the IBF and the WBA Super Champ, where he's holding the WBA regular belt. They definitely would push that, and I think that if Iwasa pulls out the upset over Akhmadayev, which I think it is very possible, then I think Iwasa goes against Brandon Figueroa next. But I think Akhmadayev is going to win, but I still think Iwasa is a very live underdog, and this fight could happen. Number 6 is Havanassian, former world title challenger. Now, he's currently the WBA's #1 contender, but I don't think the WBA is going to mandate Havanassian to fight Figueroa next after that, because after Figueroa is done with Rios. Because that would be 2 mandatories in a row. I mean, I guess it could happen, but I highly doubt they do 2 mandatories in a row. So I don't think they're going to do that, but the possibility's there. Number 7 is Figueroa. Number 8 is Ronnie Rios. That's who he's fighting next. So we know that already. Number 9 is Inuit Baluta, just coming off a victory over TJ Doheny. If Figueroa gets through Rios quick and he can't get a big fight later on in the year, he's going to wait, I think Baluta would be a possibility just as a stay busy fight coming off a big win over TJ Doheny. I think that'd be possible. And then number 10 is TJ Doheny. Technically still with Matchroom. He'd have to come back and get a win prior to getting in line for Figueroa again. If Figueroa just wants to stay busy after a quick win over what's-his-name, then I think it's possible he could face a guy like Doheny, but I'm going to lean towards the less likely. So what do I think? Who do I think Figueroa is going to face next? Well, I know for sure it's Ronnie Rios, and after that, I really believe there's possibilities of Ray Vargas would be probably the hot possibility, and then in a unification bout, and then Ryosuke Iwasa, if he pulls off the upset, I think really big possibility there. So just got to wait and see how everything plays out, and but look forward to Figueroa and Rios next for the WBA world title. I think Figueroa is going to win by knockout. All right, guys, that's what's next on Undefeated Brandon Figueroa. Hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.